This is Madmaxed with another raid video. Today we're going to talk about accuracy versus resist, what you need, when you need it, how you need it, and so on. Okay, so when you go in and you look at your champs, what you want to do is you have things that are buffers and you have debuffers in the game. Now, let's take Ursa for example, and you look at their skills. She has block active skills, she has decreased crit damage, decreased attack, decreased speed, decreased defense, and then she has allied protect and strength. These, the blue ones, are buffs. The red ones are debuffs in the game. So you really want that decreased damage and decreased attack, or the decreased speed, decreased defense. So it's this is kind of a smart way of decreasing things. Depends on what the champ is, if it's a defense or attack champ. And you want those debuffs, so you're gonna need accuracy. Now, her accuracy right now is 259. And I actually need more than that even, because like when you're doing Doom Tower, it gets up to 350 you need. And I'm into the hard Doom Tower, and it gets really hard to replace those debuffs without the amount of accuracy you need. Now for dungeons, a good rule of thumb is 10 points for every level dungeon you're in. Okay? So what does that mean if you're in a level 10 dungeon? Okay? So if I go in and I want to beat him, and it depends on, you're going to need more or less depending on the color too. So the affinity. So if you're using a blue against a red, you're going to need more accuracy. If you're using a green against a red, you need less. But for a general rule, if you've got 10 for every level, you're going to be okay. So when you look at your champions, and if I bring a blue in there, I got 197. Well, that's more than enough for a level. That's more than enough for a level 19 dungeon even. It's even good enough for a level 20. Alright. She doesn't debuff much though. She does a decreased speed. She only has right now a 30% chance. If I finish booking her out, she's got a 50. Now you can get another 10% more, so she can get another 30%, for each hit, which gets you about 50 something percent in actuality for doing a stun, which she's not going to stun a lot, but she will stun some. It's our debuffs because they're red. Like when you look at any character, you go through, poison, that's a debuff. So you want, and he does a lot of poison. Continuous heal is a buff. You don't need accuracy for that. Now, sometimes you just don't really care about it, because like he doesn't do enough. They don't do enough that you really are all that concerned. Like he has a 75% chance to place a provoke. Provoke's pretty nice, but it's only one enemy, and what it's going to do is the provoke's going to make him go hit you. So it's only one enemy is all you're going to get. So you can kind of get away with not putting accuracy on him, and but what you care about him about is increasing defense and the condition and all that. But that's the only debuff that this guy has. Now I think this guy has absolutely no debuffs whatsoever. There's no reason to put accuracy on this guy. He's got 98, but that's just because it popped up. Plus I've got some from the Great Hall and all that. But it just popped up, when I was leveling the gear up. This thing didn't have the accuracy to start with, but it just popped up, because it's a blue item. So that's where I got the accuracy on. Not because I put it on there, or it was just because, I really wanted to resist and speed and the HP, and it happened to have an accuracy subset, and one of the rows went into it. but I don't really care about the accuracy on this guy because he has no debuffs. Now, when you go into arena and you're fighting somebody, and like this guy's got almost 300% accuracy, and it happened to be I got the accuracy on here to do the 200 for the spotter, and he's mostly I use him for spotter, but a lot of the rows went into the accuracy. It's just like it just happened to go in there. I got 2 rows that went into that accuracy, and and so as I was building him, I was getting when he was 5-star, I was using him in spotter, and because he burns everything once he's booked, and he does and the burns does all the damage to the spotter. So, and as it came along, I was trying to get him up to 200% where I could do spotter with him when he got to 5-star and all that, and I did. And then when I finally 6-starred him, I put an accuracy banner on him, which gave him another 78. So, he's got really high accuracy. So that accuracy means that if I go in to like arena with him, when he applies this skill where it's an HP burn, he's going to burn everybody. When I apply this one where he's got a 100% chance when he's booked and lowering their turn meter down 15%, he's going to get it because most people are not up to 300 resist. There are a few people that put that much on there, but it's seldom. Because they're more concerned with the attacks and all that, and defense and the HP, because that helps them survive more. But, and the burn is not a big damage deal. It does like 3%. It's one of those things over time, but if everything's burning, so that's 12% of everybody's health. Because if all 4 people are burning, so every time they take a turn, they're burning not only themselves, but everybody else in the party. Well, so 4 burns, 12% of the HP is lost each round. But that's what you're looking at, is you got to have the accuracy above somebody's resist in order to inflict the debuff. Now, if you don't have any kind of, like I said, if you do not have a character, and most characters have a debuff. It may not be a great debuff. It may not hit very much. I mean, you especially when you start looking at some of those rare champions. They have some of these rare champions that just like, they don't have much of a debuff. And like this guy, he's got the stun. And he has a 50% chance placing stun. And he also has a 50% chance of placing a 50% decrease. Now, when you book him out, he's got a 75% chance. But some of them just don't have very much chance of applying debuffs. So this one's got a provoke on one enemy. You book it out 100%. That's all he's got. So, he's not going to keep the mobs attacking him. It's not going to happen. So you may decide, I don't really care about that one little debuff that he's got because it's not worth anything. And so you may decide, I'm just not going to go with the accuracy. Like I said, that accuracy comes out of my Great Hall. Now, but when they have really good debuffs, you really want the accuracy up where the accuracy hits. I mean, especially for the dungeons and all that. You need your accuracy up above 200 for a level 20 dungeon. That's what accuracy is there for. As a good rule of thumb, any dungeon, like I said, 10 points for every level. And that will get you by. I mean, all of your debuffs will work. Now, that's extremely important in dungeons. I mean, especially on some of them, like Dragon. I mean, Spider is really hard for most people. Well, a lot of Spider is manipulating the turn meter. Now, when you go into Spider and you do Spider, let's slow it down and okay, so now the first thing that's going to happen is it's fast, so it's going to put the poison on, but the poison does almost nothing. So if you look, I had it set up where the first thing she does is she knocks down the defense and the weaken. That will increase your damage to the spider double with that debuff. Now the poison on it, but the spider's almost immune to poison. Even though it's got these 5% poison on it, it does very little damage. Alright, so I go back to he just burnt. And you see, he's got a 100% chance. He burnt everything. Well, why? Because he had over 200% accuracy. The accuracy is higher than the stuff's resist in here, because the stuff's resist in here is around 200 at this level. Now you look at Cold Heart, and Cold Heart is fitting to hit with her A3, which is her big hit. Now when I go in and I do it, look, almost 8 mil, 1.77 mil damage from that one hit. And you see the turn meter went all the way down? Well, that was the debuff. And without the accuracy, the turn meter would not got knocked down. Now, next up, he'll put the shield up. Now, you see how big a shield. And you see he stunned some of these. Well, he stunned them because he had the accuracy. But now his stun is not, it only has a percentage, and it's not a huge percent. Now, then he does his little attack, and then she's going to sit down, and she knocked down his attack. And you look at all these debuffs. Well, you see this? There are 8 debuffs on that thing. You've got all these poison, you got the HP burns. The HP burns are what really does damage to spiders. But also that decreased defense and that weaken doubles the amount of damage from everything that anybody hits him with. The decreased attack means you're not going to take as much damage from anything the spider throws out. If it actually does get a turn, it throws that stuff out. Sometimes he gets a turn, sometimes he doesn't. It just depends. But you know, if he gets one turn, then that poison spray that he does on everybody, that's 50% less damage people are taking. Now, that's where your accuracy comes in at. All those debuffs are from having that accuracy up over 200 that I have. Now, without the accuracy, you wouldn't get this. Now, as you can see, he's going to die before he gets a turn. And that was mostly from those debuffs. From all those HP burns, the weakening, the drop defense, all that. That's where accuracy comes in at. That's what accuracy does in the game. That's what you need. You know, you need it for the debuffs. Now, like I said, you know, I didn't take in champs that only gave you buffs. Now, buffs require no accuracy whatsoever. But the debuffs, you've got to get your debuffs higher than you get your resists. Because without because if something has a lot higher resist and you have accuracy, your debuffs are not going to go. So that's the difference between the two. That's the good rule of thumb to use. But if you're not hitting and you're sitting there and you've got a champ that does, when you look at Fan and you look at her skills, once you book her out, she has a 100% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense and a 25% weaken. Alright, 100% chance. Now, doesn't matter how much your accuracy is, and it says 100%, it only will work 97% of the time. That's on everything. Every once in a while, it'll miss. That's just the way it does. But that's like one time out of 33 it won't hit. So, but one of these will usually still hit. I mean, either you get the defense down or the weaken, but you won't get both. And if you don't get both, then you're not going to do nearly as much damage. I mean, she almost doubles that A3 attack on Cold Heart is what she does when she gets both of these up. Now, if you didn't have that accuracy up, like she's got 220 accuracy. If you didn't have that accuracy up, well, when she goes in and she hits this isn't going to go. So you're not going to do nearly as much damage from Cold Heart's A3. Then if Cold Heart doesn't have her accuracy up, then guess what? When she does that Heart Seeker, you have to have a 100% crit rate, but she gets 30 you get 30 extra % chance from that skill anyway, so you only need it at 70. And she has 78. So when you do that, you need to get, once you get over 70% for her crit rate, she has a 100% chance of knocking that turn meter down. 100%. Well, but she's not going to do that if your accuracy is low. Let's say if I went in with 100 accuracy and I went into the spider at level 20, a turn meter's not going to go down. So you're going to die. That's just the way it is. I mean, you know, so you've got to get the accuracy up. Now, everything, I mean, there are websites you can go look at, and they will tell you exactly how much accuracy that something has per level when you go through like Doom Tower, the bosses, or like the clan boss. You know, they'll tell you how much accuracy it's got, how much speed it's got. It'll give you all the stats of all these bosses. And, you know, but like I said, the general rule of thumb for any dungeon is 10 accuracy per level. And I'm going to run like 20 level dungeons now, so I'm going to have all 200 accuracy on the guys that I use. Well, why do I want to run 20 level dungeons, you may ask? Well, why not level 15 or 16 or 17? Well, yeah, it's a little bit extra, but when you get to level 20, you only get 5 and 6 star gear. You don't get any 4s. Now, sure, when I start fighting 13, on level 13 dungeon, if you can only get 130, and let's say you're not, you know, that's where you have to start out with. When you start building up, you'll try to move up till you can get to the 13 level dungeons, because you're going to get some 6 star. It's going to be very rare. It may be 1 out of 10 pieces, and it may not be the piece you want. It may not have the stats you want, but you'll get a 6 star piece. Well, eventually, with enough farming, you'll get a few pieces of 6 stars that will help your champ. You may get lucky, and the first time you get a 6 star piece that has like maybe epic, maybe with the stats you want, and it may help your team tremendously just because you got to level 13 and you got 130 accuracy on everything. Then as you go along, you're going to want to farm the level 20 stuff, because you know you get only 5 and 6 star stuff. Now, some people farm the stage 25s. I don't do that because it's way more energy. It's way slower. Once you go past 20, you're going to have to sit down, and you're going to take a lot longer to kill, because like Cold Heart on the spider, she can only do 10% of the damage, and whereas right now she's doing about 35 or 40. So you don't want to do, you can only do 10% from any of those big champion hitters like her or Royal Guard. So, and you're going to need more accuracy. You're going to have 250 accuracy for level 25 for those debuffs to hit. So, you know, and yeah, I've got it on some of the characters, and I probably get it up on all of them. But is it worth all that extra time and energy and, you know, and energy that you're going to have to spend? And, you know, the drops are still 5 and 6 star. Yeah, it's a better odds you're going to get a 6 star, but it's still going to be, you may get, you know, it's all random. You may still get a bunch of 5 star items that you don't want. And it may be the item, you know, it takes a lot of farming to get the gear that you really want in this game. And, you know, so you got to farm as much as you can. And I mean, I'm looking at time and energy being spent. But basically, that's the difference between resist, like I said, for the dungeons. And, you know, all the dungeons are slightly different because, you know, like Ice Golem is level 20 is green, so the blues work well against him. Because, you know, you have to look at the affinity. If the affinity's wrong, like I said, you know, you need more. And if its affinity's less, if the affinity, you know, see, it's blue on the dragon, so blues against him are dead even. Most people have really good blues. That's what they start with. Spider, the level 20 is green, so blues work well against it. You know, and then you've got the Fire Knight's probably the hardest one because it's red. So the blues are at disadvantage against it. And Fire Knight's the slowest it's absolutely the slowest dungeon it is. You got the 3 ways, the Fire Knight behind the shield, takes a while to break him out, and you got to keep him broke out. I mean, this is a harder dungeon than most of them. And and even good runs on it are only about or 3+ minutes. But that gives you an idea about accuracy, what you're looking for in accuracy, why you need it, what resist is for, and why you need resist. Now you can get 80 resist out of your Great Hall. Well, if you ever max it out, you level 3 is 15, but if you get it to level 10, you get 80 resist. Well, you get 80 resist and a few other items have resist on it. I mean, when you're going into arena and they start throwing all those debuffs on you, oh, but my resist is, and some people have 350 around 300 resist or so just for Doom Tower once they've been playing for 3 years, which I haven't been doing yet. But that 350 resist keeps all those debuffs from stacking up on you, so you don't get those poisons, you don't get the bombs. The bombs in Doom Tower can be horrible because you can get 3 bombs on you. Well, if I got really high resist, they can't hit me. That helps a lot. I mean, if you're getting no debuffs on you and you have really high resist, that really helps. It helps you just as much as having high defense a lot of times. But then some guys, it depends on what waves you're on. Because you'll go in and some of those guys and some of these things, they have really huge debuffs they put on you. Well, just like Spider puts all those poisons. When you get up to around 250 resist on level 20 Spider, those little spiders don't put any poison on you. They do a pretty good bit of damage, but if you can get your defense up and then you can hit stuff and get your health back, well, yeah, you can actually make a tank that can sit there and take all those spider hits and never go down. And he'll sit down and take all the damage from the little spiders. And the easiest way you do that is you build it to the wrong color, because they're going to attack the wrong color first. So, if you're going into Spider, and let's say you're going into Spider here at level 20. Well, red is the wrong color. It's the wrong affinity. Well, no, that's 19. But red is the wrong affinity on 20. So the green will do more damage to red. So who's he going to attack first? Well, the first one he's going to attack, because he has a little bit lower, he has lower hit points. He's going to attack that red guy that burns everything, but I don't care because it's so fast. But let's say I don't have a big good burner. All I got is like a cold heart, and I have him for the shield, and I have Fayin to drop this down. He's not going to attack these 3. And let's say I don't have bad L. I can get by with these 3. It's just going to take me 6-7 minutes to run through. With these 3, if I got them booked out and maxed and stuff. And I put 2 other people in here. Well, let's say I put instead of putting him in, I put in Drexstar, which you can get free after 100 days. Well, I don't have him built for this, but let's say I want to build him up for this. His resist is at 188. I'd have to get his resist a little bit higher, which I can do because I can take the accuracy banner off and put a resist banner on. And so instead of having 78 accuracy, I'll have 78 more resist. He would never, ever get poisoned. So the little spiders are going to do some damage to him. Well, his defense is low right now. I need to get his defense up higher. But let's say I got his defense up where the 4,000 was. Well, between him and Miscreated Monster keeping the shield on, and he's going to do that wave every so often with that lifesteal gear on, he's going to keep his hit points alive as long as he's not getting poisoned. He'll stay alive. He'll sit there and take all the damage all the time. So in the meantime, of course I'm going to have to put somebody else that's blue in, which, I can put anybody in. I can put somebody like that. But when I go in here and I do like something like this, now instead of going to, I do it at a lower level, but let's say I go in and I do like level 16. Now his resist is probably high enough for this level. I'm not sure, but I would say his resist is probably high enough to withstand this. So I go in and I start this up. Now they're going to attack him because he's the wrong color. And see, I don't have this one set up at all because it's all a bunch of new stuff. But you know, he does the. Well, he's gonna kill every spider it is at this level. So I go in and see, I got more than enough accuracy for this. Now he should, the spiders when they get ready to attack, they should attack the red guy. But they do, wrong affinity. You see, every so often you'll get a poison, but it's very rare. Now they're burning. Once you get that resist up, that's what resist is here for. Resist is here to keep you from getting debuffs. As you can see, you know, no debuffs. He's got 1 poison, 2 poison out of all this. Like I said, his resist isn't quite high enough, but it's close. 3 out of what, 9 or 10 spiders have attacked him. Now the spiders are all burning. Now they're going to burn this spider down because of that. Now Cold Heart's almost back up to where she's going to be able to do her A3 again on the next turn, and this thing will be over with. See, almost no debuffs. And I mean, if I'd had a little bit more, you know, and every now and then it'll stick, no matter how much resist you got, but it won't be like, you know, it's not going to be like you get 8, 10 poisons on you from that. And that's what resist is for. Resist is to keep you from getting the debuffs, like I said. And that's what you want to look for. Now, the accuracy is far more important most of the time because you're wanting to kill everything so fast you don't get debuffs. But when you get into the high levels of Doom Tower and some of the other things that you finally get into, you're not going to be able to kill everything really fast. It's impossible. So you're going to have the resist up on things. And you know, and the only way you're going to really do that too is to get your Great Hall resist up, which I'm going to have to start trying to do more of. And I keep trying to fight arena, and I do every day, but it takes it's a long, slow process. I mean, the most you can get are 4, and go 4, you get 4 bars. If you fight 30 a day, that's only 120. And you're talking about, you need thousands of these things. I mean, to get the resist up, the accuracy up, and you need all the accuracy you can get and all the resist you can get when you get into the high levels of Doom Tower. But anyway, guys, that's the difference between resist and accuracy, what you need, how you need it. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you like it. Leave some comments. If you'll tell me what you would like to see, things you got questions about the game, I'll be glad to post a video. And remember to subscribe. Thanks a lot.